couple of weeks ago, McKinsey released an article about developers' productivity and has been all over the place on the internet. Many people expressed their opinion, and today is my turn. So today I want to describe why I believe that measuring developers' productivity is completely pointless. Hi friends, I'm Anto, I'm a software engineer and I talk about platform engineering, coding and developer experience. If you're interested in these topics, consider subscribing. So now let's talk about the McKinsey article. So many people complain because for different reasons, and I understand the work behind that, why a consultancy may be interested and is a way of selling more contracts. But in my opinion, the concept of measuring developers' experience is fundamentally broken, because I want to analyze what is the role of a developer. So a developer does creative work, and I see developers as creative thinkers, and the last thing you want to do is suppress or in any way contain their creativity, because there are metrics that are going to be around them trying to evaluate their productivity. Why I say this? Because in my experience, I've seen lots of software engineers that were writing really little code or no code at all for a few weeks, but they were essential for the team dynamics. So they were always there during meetings, always there during pairing, and they were trying to mitigate some of the aspect of our job, because our job is not just coding, it's also dealing with people, and software engineers are not always the easiest people to deal with, right? So how do you measure that type of productivity? How do you measure the impact that an individual can have on a team? So I've seen teams being completely dismantled after one of their main contributors was leaving. Contributors not in terms of coding, but contributors in terms of dynamics, like I mentioned before. So how can we measure that? And do we want to measure that? Because I think we also stress the fact that engineering, software engineering should be about team and about team activities, and it's a team effort, and we are going to deliver way more as a group than as the sum of individuals. How do we measure that? So that's my opinion behind the concept of measuring developers' productivity. What I would measure instead is probably teams' productivity, and I would use metrics that are already known in our industry. For example, the DORA metrics. If we can create some sort of sane competition, positive culture between our teams in the organization, and publish the DORA metrics in terms of deployment, in terms of bug, and in terms of recovery, I think would be much better than focusing on the individuals. The other problem of focusing on the individuals is that they will not risk anymore, because why should we risk? Try something new or try to solve a problem in a different way or in a more creative way. So like, for example, to experiment something, you may have to invest half of your week, then your actual productivity is going to decrease. But in theory, in my experience, every time I did that, I came up with solutions that were worth the effort most of the time, obviously. Why should I risk it? Why should I put my job or my promotion on the line? There is no point, right? So this is one aspect, but there is also the other aspect that is around psychological safety. If I don't feel safe in the place where I'm working, because anyone at any point can measure what I'm doing, I will always give priority to these metrics, to these numbers, and I will do whatever I can to get that number as high as possible. So what is going to generate this is a negative type of competition with my colleagues, because if I see others and cheating the system, why should I not cheat the system? I'll do my best. So but whatever is the metric that you're going to put around the developer, they will try to engineer a way to win the game. That's why you hire them, right? So instead of using their capabilities, this capability, against the problems that they need to solve, you are creating them a problem. So they will focus on their own problem first. So this is my opinion. And I think we should focus more on the leaders in the engineering teams to try to measure and try to motivate the teams, try to get the positive culture. And I would be way more worried when I see things like lack of engagement in a team and lack of participation to anything like surveys or hackathons or other things. If they don't care about these things that are designed for them, there is a bigger problem that is unrelated to the developer themselves, but probably with the company or with the culture. So I would focus more on that. I think a positive culture will always attract people that are interested in doing their job at the highest level, and will automatically push away all the others that don't want to be productive in that environment. So I still don't have an answer why we should measure the developers' productivity. This is my opinion. Let me know what you think, and see you in the next one. Bye.